Hey yo, this is Percy Getwell, PG Man. This is the PG show, your favorite show where we are unmasking biblical truth before, behind, and beyond the pulpit. This is your show where we are touching the untouched. We are leaving no stone unturned. So today we are excited to bring unto you this favorite topic, African spiritual religion. This is where we are discussing religion to the core. We are discussing religion and we are unpacking and bringing it unto you in style. So wherever you are at home, sit back and relax and watch as I introduce my guest in the house. So I will start with the big guy himself. I will start with Masta Bling is in the house. Hello, sir. Can you greet the viewers at home?
Hello, viewers. You already said my name. Master Bling.
Okay, you have just heard it. This is one of our guests that we are having today, serving as an audience, representing the public. He's going to be asking questions today. I'm sure you're going to enjoy this show. Stay tuned as I continue to introduce my guest. I have another big fish, big guy. You know himself, very popular in Matsulu. He happens to work at the Kasi FM as your favorite DJ. DJ Mnyasa, introduce yourself to the viewers and how are you, sir?
No, I'm good. Thanks for the opportunity. Greetings everyone who's watching the PG show. It's such an honor for me and an opportunity to be here sitting with these giants in the field of Christianity. So yeah, peace be upon you all. Shalom, salam alaikum.
Yeah, you have just heard it yourself. Wherever you are, I hope you can't wait to hear. You can't wait to hear what will be entertained and what we'll be talking about in this show today. I'm telling you, we are bringing you great content today. Content that will make you to hold your mouth and be amazed. So as I'm continuing to introduce in my list, I have another great man of God. One of the greatest men of God in the field of the gospel of Christ in Christianity. He's a man of God. He's a pastor. He's a theologian here in Matsulu, Pastor Salim Ngwenya. Can you just introduce yourself, man of God?
Greetings to the viewers. I'm not a theologian. I'm just somebody who happens to who received God and who happens to study the Bible. So I'm not a theologian, because when we speak about theologians, those people who have obtained doctorate or something like that. Whenever you ask something, they can give you a straight answer. So I'm Salim. I'm also here.
You have just heard it yourself, viewers at home. He is not a theologian, but don't take him for granted. He's a man of God. He has spent a lot of time in this Christianity. That's why I was just honoring him in that fashion to say a theologian, because I know he's a man who knows his story. So we are bringing it like in the best way, in the best fashion. The grind visual is bringing unto you. So chill back wherever you are as we are bringing this content unto you. So without any further loss of time, I will just give DJ Mnyas just to talk about his African belief. What does he believe on? Before I give to the pastor, the man of God also is gonna introduce his belief and his standpoint, and then I will ask after that. Then the big guy himself, Master Bling, is gonna be asking questions, and we're gonna be interacting with one another. The podium is yours.
Thank you once again. Now, before everything else, I'm an African. Hence I have a surname, I have totem. Unfortunately, I don't have totems. But when I look into my mother's side, I find totems. But when I look into my father's side, we find no totems, because we are from Malawi, of which Malawi is the land of the Mnyasa. Most people, they know it as Mnyasa land. So we don't have totems, unfortunately. But when I look into my mother's side, we have totems. So Africans, we have totems as Africans. So therefore, I'm an African before anything else, before any religion. Because religion is what one adopts for his or her own spiritual inclination, spiritual purposes, where one is trying to find the path of God or whatever believes that one finds like suitable for him or her. So therefore, I'm an African, and in Africa, Africans, they don't have a religion. What they have it's an African spirituality, whereby the Africans knew most of the things that before the white pass came. When I talk about the white pass, I'm talking about before the Europeans came to Africa. People were worshipping Umvelingangi, uCamata, uZimu, uThixo, uRamasedi, Chikwembu, uModimo, uGanyame, Musikavano, Chineke. So each and every tribe in Africa, we knew God, the one, because God, if one says God, there are many gods out there. You see, so God, when one says, I believe in God, but we want to know which one, because there are many gods out there. So therefore in Africa, we had this supreme being, of which we called him with many names. So among the Bantu people, so therefore this African spirituality, the way of worshipping, they were visiting mountains to talk to God. You see, ask for rain unto God, and the rain happens to pour on that day. Now, amazingly, it does no longer happen in where I am, because I have questions whether we have left God or God left us in Africa, because we communicated with God in such a way that He heard our prayers. You see, we have ceremonies in Africa whereby, like today, as I'm speaking, it's 2021. July, we have King Mswati in the Swati land, Eswatini, whereby is the only absolute monarchy in Africa. There are ceremonies that are taking place, the ritual ceremonies, such as Ngwenya, the big one, which is Ngwenya, such as Segwane, as well as Umhlanga. You see, those practices are still happening in Africa, especially to where the king is right now. Even if you go to the Zulu land, you will find them practicing a lot of things there. You see, those ones who are getting married, they had their own ceremonies called Umtsimba, for a lot of things. Actually, African spirituality, just as it differs with the tribes. Okay, these tribes, they are practicing like this. These tribes are practicing like this. You see, and we also honor, call upon God, putting as well as our totems. I spoke about totems. You see, whereby one we call them is Tarazelo in Zulu. We call them Stinanatelo in Siswati. You see, whereby one will start to mention the genealogy, the great grandfathers. You see, because I believe that as an African, I believe that I am my ancestors and my ancestors are me, because their DNA is embedded in me. You see, my walk, when I walk like my grandfather. I didn't choose to walk the way I walk. My feet, they look like my mom's. My smile looks like my mom, my dad. You see, I represent a lot of my ancient ancestors. You see, because I carry their DNA. Hence, I said we have totems. I'm a Chirwa on my father's side. My mother's side is a Mazibu. You see, so they will say it's Mazibu, it's Mwelase, it's Punganen Makulukulu, Mfula Rawelwa, Wula Tingoja, Nzima, Nkagaze Mangwe, Manzezu. They have totems. So therefore in Africa we knew all these things. Just like when you touch biblical spaces, you find that they say the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. Those Israelites, they knew that they are talking about this God. You see, so whenever you're talking about God, you need to say which God are you talking about. These ones are talking about the God of their ancestors. It's there, you see. So, but in Africa, there is no African tribe or African tradition that teaches people to worship ancestors. No. It is not like that. We worship the creator of heavens and earth. Zimu, Mudzimu. You see, Ngwenya, Musikavano, Thixo, Kamata, Umvelingangi, Umenzi, the creator. All these names, they have meanings to say. You see, one who says Umenzi is the creator, is the doer. You see, one who says Umvelingangi, the one who appears before anything else, before everything. So he was there, Umveli, Uvela. You see, so all these things we had it in Africa. Just that it's different in according to our language. Murungu, Mungu. So I think I've tried to at least put it in a longer paragraph or a sentence whereby I've said we had God in different names, as well as we had we also acknowledge our totems, our ancestors. I've also mentioned that we communicated with God in such a way. We also asked for rain from this God. I've also mentioned about ceremonies in Africa. I've also mentioned about kings. So I've just sum it up in just one big statement. I think I'll just hold it right there for now.
Okay, you have just heard it, viewers at home. I hope you were learning. You were learning a lot as DJ Mnyasa, the honorable DJ, as he was unpacking these things and teaching you and telling you about our background as Africans. Above all, before anything else, you are an African. There's a reason why you were born in Africa. There's a reason why your skin is not white and you are black. Though some are trying to bleach their skin now, it's a topic for another day. But we are just telling and trying to promote black pride, to say you are black and there's nothing wrong about being black. So right now I'm just gonna introduce my other guest, Pastor Ngwenya. Pastor Salim Ngwenya is gonna be unpacking or maybe speaking from his religion background, and then from there we'll allow some questionings and stuff like that, just for you to enjoy this show and be blessed. Sit back and watch. Pastor Ngwenya, you can introduce yourself and further tell us your standpoint, or maybe your point of view, or maybe your religion.
All right, as I've said, I'm Pastor Ngwenya from here in Matsulu. So thank you for enlightening us. So we are learning each and every day. So I'll give a background of Christianity. I was not born a Christian, so the word was preached to me. Then I also accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. So in Christianity, we believe what we believe in. We believe in that Jesus Christ died for us and we were saved. So we were all sinners. We were not deserve a grace or mercy. We were sinners. So in order for us to receive mercy, Jesus Christ had to die for us so that we can be saved. In Christianity, in short, we believe in Jesus Christ, that he had to come and die for us in order for us to be saved. Yeah.
Oh, you have just heard for yourself, viewer. You have just heard for yourself, viewer at home. Pastor Salim Ngwenya was trying to introduce and to expand and expatiate more on Christianity, on what is Christianity, and on the background of Christianity. So for now, we'll proceed and continue with this show. So we'll just ask Master Bling just to ask some questions if he needs clarity on certain things, or maybe he needs more knowledge, or maybe there's where he feels there's missing knowledge, he wants to dig and know more. So we now allow this process so that you at home can be represented. The reason why we have somebody who's neutral, who's just sitting there asking, is so that the majority of the people who are at home, who cannot come here in the show because of COVID restrictions and stuff like that, can also get to know that there's somebody representing them. So I will hand over to Master Bling.
Thank you for that, Pastor. I'm sure the public would like to know one thing, which is something that you both touched, but we didn't get clarity, which is DJ Mnyasa said, before everything, we are Africans, and also Pastor Salim said that we chose we chose God. We are not born as Christians. So I would like to know that what was the first thing. What that means before Christianity, there was Africans. I just want to know that first. That's what I want to know. Another thing is that the Christianity, who came with Christianity in South Africa?
Okay.
In Africa, sorry.
Okay.
In Africa. Who came with Christianity in Africa, and what made us as Africans to be so much into religions? Because I know it's not only Christianity, but so much into religions than to Africa, than spiritualism, than spirituality, I meant to say.
Okay.
So those are the questions that I'll need to unpack first, then we can digest everything from there.
Okay, if I heard you well, your first question, you were saying that you want to understand this thing of saying that why like what was happening before religion came in Africa?
Yes.
Okay, which means you want to understand that how were black people like living
Exactly.
Even before religion came to Africa, because we know that religion was not is most religion they came from outside Africa. In Africa there was what were Africans doing
exactly.
before religion came.
Religion came
So that question of which I believe that I will it's gonna be directed to the DJ Mnyasa. He's gonna be explaining there because it's the one who's standing for African for Africans.
Exactly.
So the other one, the other question, I was saying, can you remind me your question? Your second question.
The other question is that what convinced us as Africans to follow religions than spirituality, than Africanism?
So in other words, the second question is saying that what made us to abandon our African way of doing things, and then we begin to fall for these religions which came
and forget the Africanism
and forget the Africanism that we were practicing. Yes. So that one I'll reserve it for Pastor Ngwenya. Yes. I believe because from the Christian point of view, he's gonna tell us why did we leave our African way of doing things, and then we adopted this religion, other religion, of which is going to speak for Christianity. It would be unfair for him to speak for another religion. I believe we're going to have a part 2 whereby we will have other guys from other religions who will tell us more about this thing. Yes. So DJ, this is your time. Can you explain to the viewers and take them to this journey?
I think his question was what was happening before religion came to Africa. I think it's a very beautiful question. Africans were living under the laws of kings. Because we have got ancient stories, and most ancient stories, I was not there. Okay. So, but now the knowledge, I've received it from those ones who received it from other people, who received it from other people, you see. Okay. So Africans were living in harmony. They were living with pure love, you see, under one rulership of a king according to those tribes. You see, up until there were wars in Africa, people fought wars in Africa. Whereby most wars were fought during the period of the famous King Shaka Zulu. He wanted to unite most Zulu people to be one, one Zulu as one territory, to be under one territory, which is his territory. But therefore, if you talk before even Shaka Zulu, we find that Africans were living in harmony, practicing African spirituality. When it's time for them to celebrate the return of the sun, of which it's on the spring, you call it spring in your own language. They will celebrate the return of the sun, of which is this sun that you see today. They will also celebrate the feasting month, whereby now they can see that crops are starting to grow. They are going to harvest. They will celebrate this harvesting. They will forever thankful with whatever that is happening in their land. They were governed by the laws of nature, you see, of which some of them they call them karma. I don't know much about karma, but therefore they were governed by the laws of nature. They knew killing is not right, you see. They knew that insulting your mother is not right. They knew that you are not supposed to sleep with your mother. That's an insult, you see. They knew that you need to marry someone, to marry how? We call it lobola in our Swati and as well as Zulu, whereby you will pay a bride price, you see. Then now we call that person umgako. Now if you want to do mtimba, touch on that thing, that if you want to do mtimba, you'll do all those things. There is no priest there. The priest of the land is the king. The king is the head. The king is also the leader of those people. The king is representing God here on earth. In such a way, we call him in Zulu Swati language, umlomo ongathethi amanga, umlomo longathethi amanga. To thetha in Xhosa, we call it to speak. Ngasithethe ngoku, I mean, let us speak in Zulu, but umlomo ongathethi amanga is one who doesn't speak the lies, of which we know there's only one who doesn't speak lies, of which is God Almighty. So therefore, in Africa, they were listening to the kings, because the kings, we believe that the kings were the right rulers, want to give guidance upon people. If it's time now to harvest, they will take some certain harvesting, bring it to the king. You see, ceremonies will take place there. You see, when someone is sick in Africa, we had the seers, of which you call them Inyanga. What is Inyanga? Inyanga is what you can also say it's a moon. You see, those ones who knows the cosmos. Inyanga. Therefore, these ones of which Inyanga will heal you. You see, we had Tanusi. Those ones, some of them, they don't even touch some trees. They will use what we call the dogoto to heal you, to cure you spiritually. So, you see, we had crosses in Africa. These crosses, some of these crosses are famous crosses, we call them the Ankh, of which most of them will call it an Ankh. These Egyptian things, the famous known by it's like used by the chemists, of which it's an Ankh. I don't know if you have ever, I will try it on the video so that the Ankh should appear there. Then we also have another cross, of which is a cross on the secular and some waters there, the eternal cross. Then we also had another cross to do witchcraft in Africa. Those ones who are not using this muti, or it means a tree. A tree is muti. You see, so to cure, some of them they use them to do some negative things, but they also use the cross. In Zulu as well as in Xhosa we had this pamban. If you are mad or sick, you crazy, we call you to pambene. They were using that thing to twist whatever. Maybe you are doing something of which is. So those are certain spirits of which even spirits were used by the Africans. Even today, those crosses are still used whenever you've done a wrong thing. At school, a teacher will mark a cross, meaning we are wrong. We call it this pamba. You see, so in Africa we had everything, the spirituality. Some of them they use this spirituality negatively, so some of them they use them positively. So of which among the Swati people they still celebrate the return of the sun. You see, the full return of the sun, of which we call it Ngwenya. I spoke about Ngwenya, whereby the full return of the sun. In Africa, we also celebrated the sun, of which the sun is Ra. That's a sun. And therefore, in Africa, in Africa, we have Horus, of which is known by the Greek as Heru. Horus, of which is the sun god. You see, also the sun, but the sun god. Now, we come back, even today, we measure time by asking, Little Hora, that's Horus. Hours, Horus, the white says hours. They are measuring where the sun is. Little Hora, where the sun is right now. That's how they've measured the time of a day by Lihora. Lihora is an hour. The hour is Horus. Horus, Hora, hour. Greek they know him as Hero, of which is a sun god. So in Africa, we knew all these things. You see, Bonabakulu became, meaning the great of chemists. Chemists means black. You see, all these things you still find them there. Where I am, say I'm in Mpumalanga, of which is where the sun was born. In Mpumalanga, where the sun is rising. Where the sun was born in Kapsuhupi, where I am. There is the ancient watch of all time calendar, ancient calendar, the first calendar in the world is in Mpumalanga. Where Credo Mucho is calling that place in Zalo Elanga, where the sun is born. Some of them we call them Adam's calendar. You can search these things. You will find the ancient calendar is here in Mpumalanga Kapsu, a stone. So but they will tell, oh, now it's time for harvest, it's time to do this, time to do this, time to do this, it's time to do this. So in Africa we heard all these things. You see, we needed no religion in Africa. We had spirituality. You see, we knew God. We knew about prophets, Umhambi, Umtsamai, a traveler. You see, we knew about prophets. You see, all of them, they also came here to find shelter in Africa. Your Moses in your Bible, your Jesus in your Bible. They came to find shelter in Africa. You see, you'll read the Bible and find that an Ethiopian eunuch was reading a book of Isaiah. We had books here, of which most ancient books are in Ethiopia. There is a place called Lalibela. A stone church in Ethiopia. You see, it is a cross. When you look at it from an arrow shot, it's a cross-like church. You see, those whereby ancient Christianity is kept there. But they also acknowledge those ones who wanted to accept a religion, in fact. So even that one was reading the book of Isaiah or Isaiah. But question yourself, why did he get it? Meaning the books were here. You see, the prophets did come here. In fact, the Middle East is part of Africa. You see, because the canal, that Swiss canal, that little stream was digged yesterday. It's man-made, so it was one thing. So in Africa, we heard all these things. If you check some of the African beliefs, you can find the Hebraic belief, the Toraic beliefs. Why am I saying that? You find Africans circumcising. It's biblical, they circumcised. Among the Xhosa and Ndebele people, they still do it. It's by Ntabe. whereby most prophets, for them to gain power and all these things, they all ascend the mountains. Moses received the commandments where? In the mountains, of which mountain is one of the sacred things in Africa. We had all those things. We have a circumcising, of which biblically, Genesis chapter 17, verse 3 down to verse 6, you will see it's a covenant between God and Abraham. We had those things here. Among the Zulus and Swatis, they had these things up until the time of King Usenzangakon, whereby the circumcising was stopped. We call that ugusoga. It's a Zulu thing, ugusoga, to circumcise. Be circumcised. You see, we had all these traditions. You see. So in Africa was great, and it shall be great again. We had all these things in Africa. It was there before anything, before religion came here. The Africans were practicing spirituality to the core, of which today is a shame. We've abandoned some of the things in the name of religion. Because anything that has to do with you must know that it's something that was invented. Rewind, you are going back. Religion, reverse, anything that has to do with reload, meaning you are redoing it again to So therefore, my brothers and sisters who are watching out there, Africa was once great and it shall be great again. I hope I've answered the question.
You have just heard it for yourself. I believe even Master Bling has been answered. I believe even the viewers at home, you are learning. There's so much information that has been popped out like continually. I believe you are learning some of these things. Some of these things, even to me, they are new. They are very new. I'm learning a lot. So right now, I believe if Master Bling gives us a go ahead, we will take the second question, of which is the pastor is gonna answer that question.
Yes, I think that's okay. Then I'll ask again all the questions based on what he said and based what on pastor.
Okay, so there's gonna be follow-up questions. Don't worry, viewers at home, you are covered. Just sit back and relax. There's gonna be more heat in the studio. There's gonna be more fire. We are bringing unto you. This is the PG show where we are unmasking biblical truth beyond, behind, and before the pulpit. So the man of God is just gonna answer the question right now. We are taking the second question of the show. The man of God is gonna be answering the show. The question that says, why Christianity? Why do we have to abandon such a beautiful African way of doing things and fall for Christianity? Why? Why is it? So the man of God is just gonna take us through his journey to say why. Because I believe as a pastor, this is also a platform for him to advertise his Christianity, because we present these things. We are presenting these things as part of evangelism. So he's gonna speak to you at home to say why Christianity? Why do we have to leave African of spirituality and take Christianity? The uniqueness and the difference between the two. So, man of God, you can take us through the journey.
So, let me start by saying, in God there was no African and European or something like that. When we read Genesis chapter number 11, it is where it started. People started building a tower. He said they wanted to build a tower to heaven. So it is where it started. Okay. The Bible says God, He created confusion between them. Okay. It is when they started speaking different languages. So in God we were one, and people started rebelling from God. So God wanted to cause confusion so that they can stop whatever that they were doing. You see, so we were one in God. So I think we never abandoned our religion, but we abandoned God. We abandoned God. We never abandoned our religion. Okay. We never abandoned our religion, but we abandoned Christianity or God, because Christianity was not there. It was not there, ne?
Okay.
Christianity was introduced when Jesus Christ came to earth. And the word Christianity started in Antioch. Okay. When people realized whatever the people was doing, they were doing what Jesus Christ was doing. Okay. So they started calling those people Christians, because they were following in Jesus Christ's footsteps. You see, so it is where the word Christianity started. So they said, oh, those people are Christians, as they called these other people champions, and they call them names. I'm sorry to mention this, you see, because they see whatever they are doing, it follows into the footsteps of that person that was doing it, you see. So in God, there was no African or something. In Genesis, when you read, the Bible said God created the heavens and the earth.
Okay.
You see, so it is God who divided the earth, and it is God who divided even the oceans and the sea. So there was no Africa, there was no anything. So, and God started giving somebody a mind, and He said, "You will name whatever the place where you go. You'll name it whatever." He gave powers and authority to humans. He never gave authority to a white person or a black person. There's no mention of a black person or a white person in the Bible.
All right, but my question still stands, which is the first question was who brought Christianity to Africa, which is, I think that's what you're trying to answer now. You're telling me that God, there was no Africa anyway. That means it happened before Africa. I'm trying to understand that Christianity came before Africa, or Africa was there before Christianity, because now it sounds like God separated everything. So Africa was on the side, but then by God's knowledge, he knows that this is the whole way. This is one world. There's no Africa. There's nothing at all. That means Africa came with us. And another thing, I've also asked that what convinced us, because I've heard DJ Mnyasa say that before anything, there was African. There was Africanism. Am I right? We were practicing Africanism.
African spirituality.
African spirituality, right?
Okay.
Exactly. So that was before Christianity, right? Okay. So now, Pastor Salim is telling me that there was Christianity before the Africanism. That means no one came with Christianity in African. We knew God before the African spirituality. I don't know if it makes sense.
When we talk about God Almighty or Jehovah, we are speaking about, as I have said, we are speaking about the creator of heaven and earth, and the creator who created us. You see, that is why I'm saying in Genesis chapter number 11, we were one.
So there was
before we.
The African thing does not exist to you.
No, it exists today because we named it Africa. This thing started when they started to build this tower. They confused themselves. They wanted to build this tower in order to go and visit God or something like that, And the Bible says you cannot see the face of God. You can even die. You see.
Yes.
So God created the confusion, because whenever God creates, He will give you maybe a mandate that you are not supposed to do this. You can do this, but you can never do this. Then you rebel from that thing. It's like whenever you have a father at home, your father will say, "Do not walk at night." Your father knows why he said, "You must not go at night. You must be at home at 6." He knows why he's telling you so. And if ever you'll go at night, maybe you'll find somebody, he will stab you. You'll end up in a hospital. And then when you come home, what will he say? I told you not to go at night. And you mustn't go at night. Maybe he will punish you also, because he has given you a mandate, and then you have abandoned it. As we have abandoned God, then we started to call ourselves African. Let me tell you something. This thing of circumcision, it started with God. This thing of slaughter,
according to the Bible.
According to the Bible.
Okay.
This thing of slaughtering, they were sacrificing to God.
According to the Bible.
Yes, according to the Bible.
But also Africans did that on the side.
I don't know about African. There are no books. I believe
there are no books, but I think we're getting a lot of information these days besides having books with us. And I'm sure there are books. There are African books, if I'm not mistaken. There's a lot of African books.
Okay. I never even studied this at school, African or things like that. Because I never did history or something like that. So I don't have information about when did Africa started, when it started, when,
But you know, in
when
most
it
cases,
began. But according to the Bible, it's the way I'm putting it.
okay.
Yeah, so I cannot speak on behalf of other religions or something, because I I'm not into it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So if I heard you well, I'm gonna come to you. If I heard you well, Pastor Ngwenya, you are saying that African, this thing of African does not exist in terms. It's a man-made thing. It's not something that God brought. It was not initiated by God. Its origin is from man.
Yes, it was
So
not.
God never created Africa. God created the world, as in like the universe.
Yes.
Then it's men who said, "This is Africa."
And we're doing this.
And according to Genesis 11, of which you've quoted that verse, that to say, men started to build the Tower of Babel. They wanted to go to God, and God went down and caused some confusion because of whatsoever they were doing. Whatsoever they were doing, they didn't approve it.
Yeah. Let us read the verse number 4.
Okay.
So that maybe we can understand what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth." You see. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. The Lord said, "If as one people speaking the same language, they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and confuse their language, so they will not understand each other." So the Lord scattered them from there over all the earth, and they stopped building the city. You see, they wanted to build this city so that they can make the name for themselves.
Okay.
And then when you start doing something like that, people will start worshiping you and stop worshiping God.
Okay. So that will mention the reason why God came down and destroyed the whole project.
The purpose of God creating a person,
Okay.
it was for God. It was for a person to worship
know
God,
God.
to know
Okay.
God and worship God.
Okay.
So these people, they
this-
started
to
they
build a
started
name for themselves, not
to
for
build
God.
a name for themselves, not for God.
You know,
You see.
I'm still not clear. You
No,
know
let-
why?
let-
You know
let
why
me-
I'm not clear.
let- Pastor Salim,
I just want to. I know what you
Let
want
me
to
take
say.
a
You want to
question
tell-
very quickly. I want you. I wonder if you are answered from the question which you
No,
were asking.
that's why.
Before
I'm
because
coming
now I want to introduce for some
DJ Mnyasa.
DJ Mnyasa also.
Yes, I understand.
to
I just
ask
wanted to just quickly
certain
touch on
questions, yeah.
something.
Okay, you
know,
can
like,
ask.
because I'm still in need of clarity.
Okay.
I'm sure even the public needs the clarity. You
Okay.
know? So you can't. I wanted to make an example about the Swaziland.
Yeah.
You can't come to Swaziland and tell them that Mswati akasebenzi yabona King Mswati ayikho le ndakhe Mswati. You guys should follow this way.
Okay.
Yabona. What I was asking me was who's the person who came
with
to
Christianity?
Africa and said, guys, in the land of Africa, today we want to go in a Christian way.
Okay.
As for Pastor Salim, we'll talk about the Christian way. If first we had my religion, like let's say for instance for my Islam and other religions, we want to put me up on a side and down. So now I'm asking, who came with this thing to Africa, and what convinced us as Africans was okay? No, not to something so dealing with Christianity than dealing with the African spirituality.
I don't know if you understand the question, man of God. Master Bling is saying, who came? We know that maybe Christianity came like as we Christians believe, to say Christ is the one who like as you've said, that Christianity we started to call Christians. It's not Christ who said you are Christians, but Christ was a Christ. Is like the word Christ means the anointed or the anointing. Then after you went, then from Antioch they saw the believers who were imitating or eliminating or imitating the guy was Christ or their leader. So they started to call these guys Christians. because they were naming them after Christ.
Yes.
We understand. So now, okay, that one is clear to this guy, I believe.
Okay.
So, but now he wants to understand, to say who took now Christianity to Africa,
Because there was no
came
Christianity.
yeah, because it was like whatever that was happening was happening there in the Middle East, like in Israel and in Greece. But who took this thing to come to Africa and introduce Christianity in Africa?
So, according to your belief, there was no Christianity in Africa.
No, I don't believe that. I think Mnyasa said there was no Christianity.
Oh.
There was no religion.
Okay.
There was no religion.
Oh,
at
there
all.
was no
That's what you
religion.
said, right? There was no
Okay.
religion at all.
Oh, there was no religion.
There was
at
no
all.
religion. That's the reason I'm saying. For you now, because you're here, when to come at the Christian side of the story, about
Okay.
you can't talk on behalf of the other
So,
religions.
when I are asking who brought religion in Africa,
Yes.
okay, so when we
Religion is Christianity.
oh
Religion is Christianity,
So you
because you
ma-
cannot speak
Okay.
on behalf of the other religions,
okay,
right?
okay, you're supposed to ask it this way: who brought Christianity in Africa, not who brought the religion, because the religion religion is there.
No,
and it was
the
there.
reason why I was asking that is because I think Pastor Peachy said that you'll only speak on behalf of Christianity.
Oh.
So the religion
So-
part, he even said we'll have part two for the other religions.
Yeah.
But as for now, you
That
can
is why
answer for this religion.
that is why I'm putting it like this.
Yes.
You have to ask who brought Christianity, because if you say who brought religion, that means the question is based on me and even in DJ Mnyasa, because
No, he's talking on behalf
there are
of
because there are
African
lots of
Christianity.
religions.
Okay.
Yeah, there are lots of religions. So
But
ask,
you're speaking only. You also say that I'm not going to speak for other religions.
Yes.
I'm only going to speak for Christianity.
Yes.
So if I'm saying religion is because of the topic we're talking about religions and all, it's because now we don't have other religions. But then if we had other religions, I think the other religion leaders or pastor, I don't know if they are pastors or whatever, they were going to speak on behalf of their religion.
So yeah,
Now
I
it's
I understand. So you, when you're talking about when you're bringing the question to him, saying like who brought religion, we're not talking
guys
like
can't
like
answer your question.
the other religions.
If they're supposed to answer, they're supposed to answer you. Said, oh, who brought this? Now you're jumping around. Who brought? Ask demand the question like who brought Christianity in
But I'm
Africa?
still
Yeah,
not
who
answered.
brought Christianity
Still,
in Africa?
I've
Quick, let them
stated
answer
these two
because
questions.
you are jumping around. Because I
Okay.
still want to say things. So
He touched and also
Yeah,
I also
so-
want to
Okay,
ask some
okay,
people.
okay.
So-
Ask
so-
that
so-
one
so-
quickly
so-
because of time.
Yeah.
It's getting hot here. Very hot. It's getting extremely hot. This is the Pigeon Show. We are bringing it in high definition. The grind visual is bringing it unto you. We are broadcasting it in style. Stay tuned and watch for more. Yeah, Pastor, can you just answer the question? What's the question again?
No. Unless you're not listening to him. No, I think you're not fair. You're not fair because you're not honestly listening to him.
Okay.
Because you are answering what he was not.
Okay, let me ask. So the question is, who brought Christianity as a religion in Africa?
Africa. Yes.
Okay, let me put it this way. When Jesus, there's a certain time when Jesus walked with his disciples. Ne?
Okay.
When he walked with his disciples, there's a certain time where he released his disciples.
Okay.
He said, go and preach the word to the nation. He never described where you should go.
Okay.
He said, go and preach the word to the nation.
Okay.
So if we read of Apostle Paul, he even went to Asia, he went to Europe, he went to the world. He was preaching the word. He was preaching the word. So I think it is where Christianity was introduced
Okay.
to the world. Let me say to the world.
So-
because even in Chinese, they believe in their own gods. When you go to India, they believe in their own gods, but they ended up banning their gods. When Corona started, I was watching this
Okay.
in some of the news. So, you see, so to answer your question, it started where Jesus released his disciples and he said, go to the world and preach the word.
Okay.
But I'm still not answered, because I feel like you didn't have the solid answer or the correct answer, because I expected that you will tell me this person is the one that came with Christianity into Africa. But instead, now I'm getting an answer that doesn't have an answer. I don't know if you understand me.
Okay.
It's like saying, I don't know, but using a certain statement and saying, I don't know. Because now Pastor Salim Ngwenya is saying, I believe that this thing came on this way according to the Bible. He doesn't have an answer to say this is the person who came with Christian religion in Africa. But then at some other point, I think now he believes that there was African spiritualism before Christianity, because now he's saying a different statement than at the first sight, at the first thing that he said before.
Okay, I don't know whether nobody want to say something before I ask DJ Mnyasa to ask to fire some few questions, and we can proceed and take some questions.
I think I'm okay. I'm okay.
If
fine.
you can
I'll just let it slide, because I'm not answered as I'm saying. I'll let it slide. So because of the time, I'll let it slide.
I don't know how I can answer you.
But it's a simple question.
So
you should tell me the name of the person.
Jesus Christ is the one who brought Christianity in the world.
I mean in Africa.
In Africa,
Yes.
Jesus Christ is the one who brought Christianity in Africa.
Okay, no problem. It's fine.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll let it slide, as I've said.
Don't let it slide. You can come up with a follow.
You're not gonna add it.
Yeah, you can come up with a follow.
Okay, on which year was that? That means there was African spirituality before Christianity. Do you agree to that?
There was African spirituality before
Before Christian religion.
That is why I never wanted to use the word Africa when I answered you. I never wanted to use the word
But
Africa,
you've used it.
because it is
Yes,
where
but you've
religion.
used it.
It is where religion started.
Where?
When people separated themselves and they started calling themselves African, and those started calling themselves we are Europeans, and then we live like
So
this.
there was religion before African spirituality.
Let me tell you
now.
something.
But you see, now
a
this
difference.
is confusing. At the first, you agreed with me that there was.
Let me finish first.
Okay.
There's a difference between tradition, culture, and religion. If we
Please
can
explain
understand
those
these
three.
things.
Please explain those three to the public so that we can ask all those questions according to what you're saying.
Culture, these are things as to put it in short. Culture, these are things in which you do as maybe Swazis or maybe Shanganis or something. They will even tell you that our food this is what we eat.
Okay.
This is what we
It's
eat.
a way of life.
Yeah, it's a way of life. In tradition, it is something we believe in. I don't know. It is something we believe in. Tradition and
I want to understand that.
man, tradition and religion. That is why tradition and religion it looks similar.
Okay, what's the differences?
It looks similar. I cannot. These things I cannot separate it, but it looks similar.
But you've separated them
Yes,
already.
there's a difference between these things.
What's the difference?
Eh? In religion, it is what you believe in. Even in tradition, it is what you do. And some of the people they
That's what
take
you do,
tradition.
but you said
worship-
in culture is the thing that those are the things that we do. Culture is the thing that we do, the way of life. Then
Yeah,
what
culture is
tradition?
the way of life.
Yes, I've said this the way of life.
I don't know
because
what
I'm
is
trying-
tradition. I don't know what is tradition. Really, I don't know what is tradition. Because I can
But
tell you that
you said all these things, and you're explaining it. Like I think
That
I'm
is
the
why,
one to say-
man,
I think
that is why I
Mnyasa
wanted-
just
man.
disturbed you because he
Okay,
was laughing
yeah.
inside
That
you
is
trying
why-
to explain tradition.
that is why I wanted to.
I couldn't hold myself.
Okay,
I'm sorry
yeah.
for it.
That is why I wanted to ask this as a question. That before we speak about the religion, let us first look